Hello and welcome to the Fireside Chat series presented by nasscom Engineering and R&D. I'm Karan Kamal, co-founder of Future Factor 360, and today I'm in discussion with Dr. TC Ramesh, Head of Innovation and Technology at Quest Global, and we're going to be talking about trends in industrial digitalization. Dr. Ramesh, if you could introduce yourself, it would be great.
Thank you, Karan, for having me today. My name is TC Ramesh, and I'm the Head of Innovation and Technology at Quest Global. I'm a mechanical engineer by education and trying to transform myself as a digital engineer, just like everyone around us is transforming themselves. My role has two parts. One is to look at all the digital technologies that are available and how we can solve the problems of our industrial customers. And the second part is to develop and foster the culture of innovation at Quest.
Let's dive straight into the topic, Dr. Ramesh. Digitalization has been a buzzword for the last 7 to 8 years now. Where do you think the global landscape in terms of organizations stands in terms of digitalization maturity?
Yeah, a very pertinent question to start this discussion. I would like to compare this entire topic of digitalization as an analogy with outsourcing. So as outsourcing for the ER&D industry has matured and developed over many years, I see the same evolution with the digitalization also. So none of the industries or companies say that we do not want to do digitalization. Technologies are available to everyone, but then the maturity levels of different companies and different verticals is quite stark. And this is because of various reasons. It's not definitely because of the lack of availability of technology, but it is about how they went about these transformation initiatives, looking at culture, looking at change championships, looking at how the entire workforce can be taken into confidence with reference to the digital transformation and so on. Having said that, the way we look at it from an industrial perspective, we see two sets of verticals. One is verticals such as semiconductors, automotive, medical, which are definitely leaders in this entire digitalization journey. And then there are others like manufacturing, general machinery, textiles, etc., which are on the laggards.
So over the last many years, I'm sure Quest has worked with a gamut of customers. What do you think have been some of the learnings, both in terms of their successes as well as their challenges?
Yeah, so in every industry, we see leaders who are excellent in this digital transformation, and then we see others who are following. So when we have looked at our customers, what have we learned from them and what we are seeing as the factors for success? Apart from aspects such as culture and change management, I think one of the biggest differentiation we see is about how they have looked at digitalization and the transformation. While one set of customers, I would say most of them are definitely looking at the digital journeys in the context of their internal systems, the HR, finance, sales processes, etc., trying to eliminate paper, make it connected systems, data at the fingertip, analytics, and so on. I think the more successful ones, when I look at it from an industrial perspective, is the ones who have looked at product transformation, those who have looked at new business models, etc., to take these journeys further. And I think that is the fundamental difference between successful and not so successful companies. In terms of the challenges, I think the basic challenges still remain, and I feel that most of these challenges come from not being able to appreciate what is the use case or what is the problem that we are trying to solve as an organization. And when you do not have that perspective, the ROIs that are generated or promised sometimes don't come through, and we see this whole thing of having a disappointment with how the journey around digitalization and transformation is happening around us.
That's in fact a very interesting insight, Dr. Ramesh, because what we've seen is a lot of customers are taking a very tactical approach in terms of digitalization. And what we've been hearing is, it's led to what is called as a purgatory of POCs, right? So, and I think the industry now needs to look at it in a more strategic and a holistic manner. So let's get into, looking at the future, right? Where do you think are some of the new opportunities emerging today, and what are the drivers for these opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting point that you brought about in terms of the amount of POCs, right? I mean, everybody says about the POC fatigue and so on and so forth. I think one of the other data points that's available is that 70% of digital transformation seem to have headed into some sort of failure. It could be lack of budgets, lack of ROIs, lack of conviction in what you're doing, and so on and so forth. But having said that, I think there are still a lot of opportunities, especially coming from an industrial background. And I think I would like to break them into 3 or 4 categories. The first is a very simple one. I mean, you might even think why we didn't think about it before. Many of the industrial companies, they have a lot of data, but then many of these companies have also grown by acquisitions, and therefore the data is available in multiple places, multiple sources, and then you do not know which source of data is the right one. So starting from the fundamental thing of extracting data from scanned documents, we see opportunities where customers have had legacy documents with a lot of information around bill of materials, maintenance processes, repair procedures, but then how do you extract information in an intelligent manner is definitely a valuable source. So it's not about just OCR, but it's about using AI to extract engineering information from these documents. The next part is about how do you put all this data together, and we see this opportunity coming in, trying to apply not just from a cloud perspective, but it's also about intelligently putting these pieces of data together so that it can be consumed in the next phase of analytics. The other part that we see is about the shop floor. I think the shop floor is a great avenue for digitalization, and this has traditionally been ignored because of various reasons. One is about the legacy shop floors. You can't invest, the money that you invest in that will not be recovered quickly, and so on. But then within the shop floor, there are plenty of opportunities. Many of the companies are starting on automation as a journey, where digital technologies today help a lot in terms of how the automation can be done. I would say many of our customers are asking about using AI in the context of not only the operational efficiency of the plants, but also things like defect inspection and so on. So I think the availability of these technologies to transform the shop floor is something that is definitely picking up. The third aspect I would say is platform engineering. As customers and as organizations are getting into this digital journey, there are 2 aspects. One is you could buy a let's say a commercial platform and use it to connect all your things and products, but then they also feel that we would like to develop our own platforms, and I think this is a great opportunity for the ER&D industry, because coming with the background of software and digital, building platforms, and then of course integrating it, what exactly should that platform contain? What are the nuances of that particular organization, that particular vertical, which will make it beneficial for them, is a great opportunity that we see. And the last one I think is definitely, it's slightly futuristic, but I think 5G is perhaps seen as a savior for this entire thing around data. So today we see a lot of restrictions of how data can be collected, how much of it can be transformed or pushed into the cloud, and so on and so forth. But with 5G, we think that topics which have been a little slow, which are data heavy, like VR, AR, or for example even IoT, could see a major uptick in terms of how these technologies can be taken further.
You spoke about the uptick that's happened in terms of adoption of digital, and we saw the steepest uptick of digitalization happen during COVID. But how do you think the digital initiatives is going to play out in the context of the recessionary headwinds that we are facing today?
Yeah, again, this is a very interesting question in the context of it's almost 3 years now since COVID has gone by, and we are all hopefully getting back to normal. So definitely yes, COVID caused a lot of disruption, and definitely digital filled in a lot of that space that was caused by the disruption. Things like work from home, training, and a lot of the things which we couldn't do because we were not allowed to travel, definitely digital played a big role. From the perspective of the industrial side, I think there was a lot of interest and investments beginning in the area of the shop floor digitalization that I talked about just earlier, which was around again caused by COVID, which means that your workers couldn't come to the factory. There was issues around social distancing and the like. So a lot of initiatives were built around how do you now rearrange the shop floor to enable social distancing, for example. And many of these digital technologies played a role in some of the POCs and the pilots that our customers talked about. But having said that, I think the arrival of the vaccination, I think things became a little more easier on the industrial side. People were able to get back to work in the context of factories and the like. We also saw that many of the changes that were required didn't seem to have the wherewithal to be able to go through. And when as you said, when things became normal, people also tended to become normal in terms of their digital journeys. So overall, I think two factors. One is that at least many on the industrial side didn't see a major shift in terms of how COVID impacted them, but definitely there was a huge shift in terms of how the IT side of things went about. And then I think coupled with the recessionary factors, I think there will definitely be some sort of thinking about how do we take this further.
So, over the course of this conversation, we spoke about the opportunities and challenges. That's presenting itself to global enterprises. What role do you think the Indian ER&D can play in terms of addressing both these opportunities and challenges?
Yeah, the Indian ER&D industry obviously has matured a lot, and we have seen the transformation from being a supplier to taking on ownership of products, ownership of services, and many times contributing to the innovation of our customers. I think in the same time, in the last about 7-8 years, we have also seen the transformation of the Indian industry itself, right? I mean, we are seeing how the ER&D companies have contributed to the ecosystem in the context of platforms like Aadhaar or CoWIN and many of the things around UPI, etc., which are definitely transformational in nature in the context of the world. We've also seen startups emerging in a big way, and while they may not be pure ER&D, but then definitely are a big part of the ecosystem, and there's a healthy interaction between the ER&D and the startups. So all this put together, I think, is the way forward for the entire ER&D industry. And I think what we are seeing is that the contribution to the digitalization journey, which is a lot influenced by R&D labs, etc., which we have developed a lot in the last many years. IP, which was a point of dispute, many years ago, is today part of the DNA, and everybody is playing their role. So while there are these macroeconomic headwinds and uncertainties about the global situations and the supply chain disruption and many things, I think there are two areas where we can play an immediate role as an ER&D industry. One is on the capable engineers. I think this has been a topic of interest from all of us in the context of how we can improve the quality of engineers coming out of colleges and the like. While the digital, the COVID had a lot of impact on all of us in terms of how we have transformed ourselves. Unfortunately, the university system perhaps has just moved on. It hasn't changed itself a lot. And I think we all can play a role in ensuring that we can continue the journey, which is being done through ER&D, nasscom, etc., to help improve the quality of people that's coming out of the colleges. The second, I think, is a challenge for all of us is the entire situation around this great resignation and the like, right? I think we've seen this whole pressure on costs coming in, and I believe this is perhaps a temporary phenomenon, but I hope that we all as an ER&D industry will address this, because at the end of the day, rewarding the capable people is a must, but at the same time, it doesn't come at different costs. So
that's a very interesting insight, Dr. Ramesh. We are now in an era of new realities. How do you think Quest Global is working with customers in terms of addressing these new realities?
Yeah, so I think just the history of Quest, we were born and grew up as an industrial organization, and over the last 7-8 years, we have added a lot of capable software and digital capability. So for us, it is about the industrial problems that come first, the use cases, the pain points of our customers, and how we can use these digital technologies to solve them. So having said that, for us, we are approaching this entire journey of industrial digitalization from the perspective of our industrial customers, looking at every single pain point that they have, whether it is in the design stage, whether it is in the production stage, or it is in the aftermarket services and so on. And then applying all the great new technologies that are around us, be it AR, VR, AI, blockchain, whatever it is, to solve those problems. I think, compared to what we were in the past, which was purely looking at it only from the product life cycle, but we think transforming that product life cycle through these technologies is what we are going through. We've had a lot of internal initiatives. We have developed COEs which cut across these technologies and take them across verticals, because that's something that all our customers ask for. How do we learn something from the medical and borrow it into the automotive, or from aerospace into oil and gas, and so on and so forth. The other is we have established technology centers which help to look at innovation from the perspective of these topics. And last but not the least, we are always on the lookout for capable engineers to help us in this journey.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ramesh. It indeed was a very interesting conversation with you today. I look forward that our audience too would enjoy this discussion.
Thank you, Karan, and thanks for having me today.